This Sunday on Press Pass, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf presents a detailed plan for reopening the state with a targeted start date on May 8th. The administration is categorizing the reopening into 3 phases: red, yellow, and green. Phases will be assigned based on conditions and a county-by-county basis or region. And the state is currently in the red phase with the sole purpose of reducing the spread of COVID-19. But one of those counties that could move quickly to yellow is Mercer County. Joining us this morning with more on the plan to reopen Pennsylvania, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, based on the assessment that the governor's administration and health department will be taking to look at each region and county and assess them, what is the rollout of these reopening measures going to look like come May 8th?
Well, specifically in your viewing area, the COVID numbers remain strong, quite frankly. And Mercer County and that vicinity is part of the area of the state that is most likely going to be among the first to transition back into this yellow phase. And for your viewers, if they go to my social media accounts, I have posted 2 very specific tools that are very helpful. It is a county-by-county tracker in terms of the number of COVID cases per 100,000, which is the critical metric for determining when a county or area of the state can transition into yellow.
How certain can you be that Mercer County could start reopening on May 8th?
Well, again, we won't know until that time, but the way it's looking right now, Mercer County is looking good, and that would be one of the areas that would be able to transition to yellow. And on my social media accounts are 2 graphics. One is that map, which is currently on the Philadelphia Inquirer's homepage. And then also is exactly what does yellow mean for Pennsylvania? And those would be of real value to your viewers in Mercer County, because, as I said, Mercer County, assuming the current trends hold, will be part of that state that will open up on May 8th.
How concerned are you that neighboring counties could impact counties with low case numbers and death numbers? Will you and the governor be taking into account your proximity to Ohio and counties like Mahoning, Trumbull County?
Well, of course. I mean, let's be honest. These political boundaries are artificial as far as the virus is concerned. But at the end of the day, the governor and Secretary Levine realized that it's appropriate to strike a balance between lives and livelihoods, and that's what the governor's goal throughout this has always been, is to make sure that, one, we contain the virus and that things are safe and our hospital capacity is maintained. And I want to emphasize, at no point during this crisis has our ventilator capacity dipped below 70% free, which is a remarkable statistic. And now that we believe that the virus has been contained, parts of the state that it really isn't the kind of threat that it is in other parts should be and are going to be able to transition to the yellow phase. And I would, again, be very optimistic that Mercer County would be a part of that.
From record unemployment to small businesses not even sure if they're going to be able to reopen after all of this, what is the economic impact and the future ripple effect this state is going to see after shutting all of this down? Do you think businesses are going to be able to recover, or will it take years to bounce back?
Profound. And I just want to say to your viewers too, this, particularly those that are dealing with unemployment, I feel your anguish, and it's awful. And I just want people to understand that currently, right now, the Pennsylvania has processed 16 times the record number of applications it's ever processed before. The largest number was a little over 100,000 back in October of 2009. We are now dealing with 1.6 million. It would be the equivalent of a blizzard that dumped 30 inches as the record snowfall, and then suddenly you're dealing with 37 feet of snow, which would be the literal equivalent of that. And, we're plowing through this, but we've already paid out almost $2 billion to recipients. The resources are flowing, and you will be gotten to. But it is taking longer than we would hope, and additional resources in terms of staffing have been implemented, and we are working to eliminate the backlog.
All All right, we saw a surge of cases in Allegheny County, whereas in nearby Mercer, more rural area, we saw lower numbers. How do you plan to roll out widespread testing to fully open these counties when testing is so limited right now to just referrals and those who say they have symptoms?
Yeah, that's the big $64,000 question, not just in Pennsylvania, but across the country. But in daily briefings and discussions with the Secretary of Health and others, that is the top priority. And these plans in terms of which test, where it comes from, what it looks like, are absolutely top consideration. We can't fully open our economy up without an adequate testing mechanism in place. Everybody understands that. And, you know, there really hasn't been a surge in Allegheny County. I think it's important that your viewers put Allegheny County in perspective. Allegheny County is the second most populous county in Pennsylvania, yet we only recently, just in the past day or two, have crossed over the 1,000 case threshold. Meanwhile, counties like Philadelphia and others in SEPA have many multiples of that, including Philadelphia is closing in on, I believe, 10,000 cases. So Allegheny County, based on their population and caseload, is actually dramatically lower than where it could have been.
There are reports about another wave of cases or spike in cases once we start to reopen businesses and people get back to work. So what is the governor's plan if that happens? Do you plan on shutting everything down all over again?
To absolutely react quickly and make sure that we take the steps appropriate to shut that down. And I want to be clear that whatever color we are, whether it's red or yellow or eventually green, you're going to have, you know, a lot of rigorous kinds of social distancing and masking and other things in place. I mean, yellow, all these things are going to be in force, and people need to understand that, you know, there's no, quote, normal for the foreseeable future. It's just going to be a new normal that will allow a lot of these businesses and opportunities to kind of reemerge. But in terms of social distancing and wearing masks and those kind of things, that's going to be with us for quite some time, I suspect.
All right. Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I appreciate your time and information.